This is the Strategic Response Group, and I'm following them to see if they take me to where the real excitement's at. There are protests happening all over the city, but you rarely see these guys just out and about. Only about a minute after following them, this happened.
This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully in the roadway and obstructing vehicular traffic. You are ordered to leave the roadway and utilize the available sidewalk. If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you.
Arrests were actually happening constantly because these protesters were blocking the road. It's one of the most satisfying things to see the police arrest someone who is breaking the law. I forgot what that was like for 4 years. And what do you notice about the police on the scene here? It would seem the NYPD adjusts their strategy depending on the protest. Mahmoud Khalil wants total eradication of Western civilization. He believed October 7th was a moral, military, and political victory. Now I wanted to ask one of these unemployed people why they support Mahmoud.
So, can you tell me what you're doing out here?
I'm doing, what I'm here is I'm witnessing some true police brutality as students were peacefully marching earlier against the detainment and attempted deportation of
the dude can't even remember his name and he's protesting for him.
Mahmoud Khalil. And right now, what's going on right now is an attack on free speech, and what's going on is an attack on the rights of Palestinians and protesting for a free Palestine.
Free speech. It's amazing how much that term has changed for people without jobs. This is not free speech. Occupying a school library and passing out pamphlets that celebrate October 7th is not free speech. That's promoting terrorism. You are more than willing to say something really dumb and call it free speech. You've been doing that for a while now with Free Palestine and Trump is a dictator. That all falls under low IQ statements, and it's permissible by US law. However, it's not free speech when you start vandalizing stuff and saying death to America. It's also not free speech to break into a classroom that is learning about Israel and occupy it.
Can you take your drum out and your whole thing out?
To make it seem like the world without Israel until we know.
Here's a clip that is now resurfacing of Khalil speaking to a class and blatantly saying, "We tried armed resistance."
We tried armed resistance.
Are people covering the road right now? I saw someone get arrested.
No, right now the NYPD is pretending that people are on the road right now. Everyone's clearly on the sidewalk, but police had already made arrests of people on the sidewalk already.
So the haters are saying that it's like not free speech because there was pamphlets saying death to America and he was part of the Colombian Divest group. Can you tell those people that it's free speech?
It is free speech. It is free speech like everything else. It is a call for changes, for more understanding of what the U.S. has been doing in the last 10 decades, last century. It is a call on for there to be an end to the occupation, for the end of the genocide to Palestinians, and for the U.S. to stop funding that genocide.
There is no genocide in Palestine. This is the graph of Palestine's population over time. Does that look like genocide to you? And since when can a country take out 1,200 of your innocent civilians and then not expect 100 times the force back? People are crying about Israel taking out the electricity in Gaza. If Britain had control of the Germans' electricity in World War II, do you not think they would have turned it off the second the Nazis attacked? Israel waited 1.5 years to do that, but no one will say that. I heard off camera too that Khalil's wife is pregnant and it's inhumane to arrest him. Who cares if she's pregnant? If you broke the law, you broke the law. How does that have to do with anything? I don't see those people being outraged about Sagui Chen, the Israeli who has a pregnant wife and he was taken hostage. Like, the double standard is insane.
Free speech does not just mean standing around and just begging for politicians to say.
I saw he occupied the library or whatever. Is that like, I don't know how I felt about that.
Well, it's civil disobedience.
Okay.
there are many lines of free speech, many ways to protest.
Yeah.
Many people may agree with one way and many people may not agree with another, but it is free speech at the end of the day.
I want to ask you about two more things he said that's interesting. So he said like October 7th was necessary because we have to move toward violence. How do you feel about October 7th? Do you feel it was a good thing, a bad thing?
I think that it's very easy for people to like emotions can get a little high with an event like that. I think that how people react is depending on how much they know about the subject at hand.
Sure, but do you feel like Hamas did the right thing?
I think that at its core, Israel has a lot to answer for with how they treat the people of Palestine, and in many ways, it's not just a single attack. It was an attack that was based off of years and years of aggression from Israel.
So do you feel like it's justified?
I think to some extent, it was justified.
Hey Marco, I got another one for you here. This guy can't condemn October 7th. I don't think these people will ever understand that on the 7th, Hamas knew there was no chance to take over Israel that day. They just wanted to eliminate as many innocent civilians as possible so that Israel would retaliate. And when they did, Hamas made sure to put their military bases under hospitals and schools so that they could do a nice little collab with the New York Times. And the only people who read that garbage is the kind of people I'm interviewing here. And, well, it's important we hear him out because, unfortunately, he represents millions of young people in this country.
They are attempting to deport a man who is not in any way by law should be you shouldn't be able to deport them.
Yeah.
It's very obviously aggression from the Trump administration, and more importantly from our government right now, to silence pro-Palestinian voices.
When you look at all these Democrat congressmen who are coming to this protesters' side and saying free Khalil, you realize how badly Democrats want to lose in 2026. How can you possibly be on the other side of another 80-20 issue? Why don't the Democrats say free Edan Alexander, who is an American that has been held in a tunnel under Gaza for over 500 days? Nothing about him. But you're going to defend a guy who wants to eradicate the West? The truth is, I think these congressmen operate on some of the most anti-America districts in the country, and maybe they can squeak out a win, but for the party, it looks absolutely awful, and they should full well expect to keep losing elections until they change their tune.
I've been reading about the law that's around the green card deportation, and it's like if you support terrorism activity, then you're subject to deportation.
But it's not terrorism.
He was chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Well, that's not a call. That's not necessarily a call. That's a terrorist call to call for a free
But Israel
Palestine.
is between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River, so from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What happens to Israelis? What happens to the Israelis?
The truth is, I don't speak for the Palestinian Authority. I don't speak for Hamas. For me, how they interpret the saying, I sympathize with either way. For me, if there is a way to ensure that a Palestinian state is achieved, then and by definition that there is no longer a call for any form of action.
Okay, so it's been about nearly a minute since I asked my question, and he's not even close to answering it, so I'm going to skip ahead for you. But I wanted to show how if you ask these people a question about what they are literally saying, they just crash out like they have bad Wi-Fi connection.
I understand why people would find that a somewhat tough subject, but I think that
because Hamas wants to kill all Jews and all Christians.
The thing is, I would doubt that they kill. It would just be a more, it would be a reinstate of a Palestinian land. And if you learn about what was going on before Israel.
Hold on, but why do you doubt that it would be a kill? Like, They killed a baby and they paraded with his coffin.
Yeah, and Israel killed like millions of babies and millions of children.
So when they
It's so hard to let this guy talk for more than 20 seconds without fact checking his bullshit. Israel has not killed millions of babies. It's just such a blatant lie. But let's ask ChatGPT just to make sure. Oh, would you look at that?
when they killed that baby and paraded him around, you felt that it was okay?
I think that if you, for those who are focusing on that one aspect, they are not focusing on the greater
But
aspect.
I'm just asking you, do you feel like that was okay? That display
No
was okay?
killing by definition is bad, and that's why Israel should not be bombing Gaza and should not be.
All right, that's enough of that. Let's get a new perspective. I saw this guy carrying a big flag, and you know how it is. The bigger the flag at these protests, the more insane things you're going to hear. But before we hear from him, I want to thank GOLDCO because they stand with our videos. They, just like you, don't shy away from the intensity of these topics. Now, I've bought gold from them because in 5 to 10 years, I know I'll be happy I made a secure investment. Here's why you should consider doing it too. During Trump's first term, gold prices jumped up 55.6%, hitting a high of $2,075 per ounce. As of January 2025, gold is trading at $2,702. If it sees another 55.6% jump, that's over $4,200 per ounce. Could it happen again? Don't miss the opportunity. And it's not just gold. Silver is booming too. It's in solar panels, electric vehicles, water purification, things we always need. GOLDCO helps you diversify and protect your retirement savings with precious metals or direct purchases of gold and silver. There's no purchase minimums. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with over 6,000 5-star customer reviews and named Best Customer Service in 2024. So here's a limited promo just for you. Get up to 10% in free silver when you open a qualified account. Click the link below or go to natesgold.com to see how GOLDCO can help secure your future.
Do you believe that he shouldn't be deported?
No,
Okay, tell me why.
because he's not a criminal.
He was-
That's that simple.
Yeah.
He's a student. He's not a criminal.
So there's this law that I was reading about today that was like, if you support terrorist activities and you have a green
Yeah,
card.
they got a million stupid laws. They can make up anything they want.
Yeah. So
Doesn't really matter.
like, I know his group was saying like death to America. Do you feel like that's not?
I say death to America.
You think that? Oh wait, tell me that. That's interesting. Like, so death to America.
The
like, in what
politicians, yeah.
sense? So what does it mean? Like, what does death to America mean?
It means get rid of this fucking system. Get rid of the politicians. Get rid of the morons that vote for these morons.
Get rid of the morons who vote for these morons. Now, this guy is really thinking on a deeper level. It's not just get rid of the morons. You gotta go beyond that.
How do we get rid of all the morons though? If it's not-
Educate people and tell them to stop fucking voting. That's what my
But
flag's
then,
about.
And why death to America then?
Because that teaches people to be stupid.
It teaches people to be stupid.
The educational system in America teaches you to be stupid.
Yeah, but why the phrase death to America? Because that is a.
Because how do you get rid of the educational system?
We're doing it right now, right?
No, we're not. We're just protesting.
No, I mean like they're closing the Department of Education. They're revamping.
No, they're just doing the same old bullshit. Just give it a different name. Republicans, Democrats, I don't care what they do. They're all the same scumbags.
Okay. So what would be a better system?
What does that A mean?
What is it? Amicable. So no government.
Yes, government doesn't teach you freedom. It teaches you tyranny.
Yeah. So, can I ask why you live in America?
Because I was born here, and that's all I know is English. And I don't have money for papers to live anywhere I want. I gotta live where I can afford.
This guy is one Spanish textbook and a plane ticket away from leaving. Should we start a GoFundMe for him?
I feel like it's going to be hard to just like get rid of government as a concept.
Why do you think it's hard?
It's been going for a couple hundred years.
Because people have been stupid for 100 years.
Yeah.
All right, let's be serious. Anarchy is not going to happen in this country. We have a constitution, and even the most insane politicians like AOC and Rashida Tlaib like the power that they have. No modern country has ever fallen to anarchy. Not once.
Do you think that you could pull it off to get rid of government in this country?
Yeah, there's no other way. What else are you gonna do? Keep putting up with this shit?
Okay, fair enough. Man.
You know, the bigger these protests are, the less I even recognize my own country. I didn't take this video in Palestine. I took it 5 minutes away from the World Trade Center. Then I'm walking to my next protest and I see this guy, a paramedic with a Palestinian flag stitched on his jacket. If two Israelis visiting America get injured and he's the one to treat them, will he try his hardest or will he really take his time? He should not have his job anymore. Anyone in a job where they have to treat civilians should not be able to have a flag that celebrates death on their work jacket. Now, a big part of this Free Mahmoud movement, of course, originates at Columbia University, where he is a student. And so I went there. You will not believe what ended up happening. This is truly insane. All right, guys, so we're about 10 minutes away from when this protest starts, and it's relatively calm. People are just queuing up to go to class, which I can't believe, by the way. If I'm paying $93,000 a year, I'd be pretty upset if I have to queue up to go to class behind these barriers. I mean, this is no way someone should be going to university here. I don't know, it just seems wrong. That's not the insane part, don't worry. Now, I saw all the mainstream media planted outside the main gate, but I didn't see much police at all, and they usually have the best intel, so I knew this was not really going to happen. The only way to see the Columbia protests would be to go through those gates. The only problem is they told me you can't go unless you're a student or faculty. However, simply complying with that is not how I was raised. And so I found a student who was super nice and liked what we do, and he gave us guest passes. Immediately upon going through the main gate, we saw this little protest, nothing major, ran by a group of Jewish students. Now, I can't say what I want to say about this group on YouTube. I'll just say, as a Jew, this group, as dumb as they are, is one of the biggest threats to our existence. It is the enemy from within.
Go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Deportation has got to go. Hey, hey. Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
That sign is egregious. It is a reference to a famous poem. I'll make it shorter. First they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me. Comparing the Holocaust to deporting a terrorist sympathizer is insanity. Another sign reads, Jews against deportation since 1933, referencing that the Holocaust started with deportations. Yes, it did. The difference is the only law that Jews broke was being Jewish. I don't remember reading about Hitler deporting Jews because they were breaking into libraries and saying death to Germany. I do remember him deporting them because they were simply Jewish. Columbia University is the most backwards place I've ever been to, and I mean that. You've got Jews supporting Hamas. You've got Palestinian flags next to the newest edition of the gay flag. They throw gay people off of roofs in Gaza. How can you have a Columbia education and still be that dumb? How? Well, that is a topic for another video. This place clearly needs further investigation. So give this video a like and I'll see where that $400 million in federal funding, i.e. your tax money, was really going. In the meantime, here is an episode where I went to speak to elite soldiers in the IDF, and I believe the episode is being suppressed. So give it a watch. What they uncover exposing Hamas is truly breathtaking. I'll see you there.